right, everybody. Uh, it's showtime. So I'm here today basically to bring you all up on the show that I've created. And it's not just any little show. Honestly, it is a small show, um, which I imagine eventually will grow into something a lot bigger. But we've created a league, and I built this because I'm tired of watching artists, including myself, work like we're on welfare while carrying the weight of systems that never supported us. Right? So after 30 years in this industry, I finally decided to fix what's broken. Right? So I've been creating this revolutionary AI-driven tattoo convention or competition. Uh, Prize money grows from the tattoos that are done at the show. Artists get paid automatically when the client approves and they've been judged. Okay? And all this is done through your phone, on an app, or on the website, and you're logged in. Okay? Including the artists broadcasting their tattooing, using one of these things to keep an eye on everything that's going on in that area, the general artist area, so that the judges can see what's being done. And when they decide to pop in, they can come in and physically look up close to what's being done or speak, ask questions, make suggestions, whatever it is that they feel is necessary at the time. They may want to stop something. Who knows? Anyway, every transaction is transparent. Every dollar is accounted for. And let me be clear, all right? So, yes, I am the event grand marshal and the creator, but I remove myself from controlling the money. Yes, the square account is mine, but once funds enter escrow, I have zero access, okay? That money belongs to the artist until after the show. I don't get paid unless the event actually succeeds, okay? So my job now is to promote, guide, and make sure the rules I wrote are followed exactly as designed. Artists apply, they get approved, they make their final payment, and their profile unlocks. Then they can take bids, place bids, and book categories. And we have until mid-January 2027 to have licensing, all of the legal legalities or whatever out of the way, 45 days before the show to finalize everything. So that like that, long as your checklist is over with and you're done by mid-January, whatever that cutoff date is, that you will be notified what day that is, that you have to have all of that stuff sent in, paid for, filled out, whatever it is necessary, classes certified, all that good stuff, right? Because you're coming in, if you're not from Oregon, you're coming in as a visiting artist on a guest artist license, and there's a process for that. You do need a bloodborne pathogen. It would be nice to have a license from wherever it is that you're coming from, and your apprentice that you're going to be bringing with you also has to have a guest license so that they can handle whatever's in the booth and they can be there legally and not be a problem, because we are going to invite the health department to help judge. So we want for them to be exposed to what a tattoo artist or mentor and apprentice relationship actually is in the tattoo industry, how that works during performances or during a tattoo session, because the system in Oregon is a little bit messed up. The way they have it set up is just way too expensive for the average kid to be able to get into a tattoo school and they don't allow funding from any federal grants or any kind of grants at all. I mean, you have to come with cash. So even if you were to convert those grants or you were able to find something like that, they won't take it from them. They only will accept a cashier's check written out to the school in your name. And I don't know if any of that has changed since last I checked, but I do qualify to be a teacher, but it's way too much involved in order for somebody to do that. So it's just easier to try to get them to go back to allowing artists with a certain amount of time license to be able to have an apprentice, a personal apprentice or assistant that gets credit for apprenticing. That's my goal. So there's a lot to this show. It's not just a show, it's a beginning of a tattoo league built on fairness, transparency, and real opportunity. So we'll see you online. We'll see you at the show. It's gonna be great, yo. Just if you have questions, hit us up. Yeah, show up. If you don't sign up or you don't apply, you ain't gonna make it in. You're never gonna be involved. So you got to start from somewhere, yo. Hey, oh, easy over there. Looking forward to having you guys. I do want to. I'll go back and I'm gonna do a little bit of other stuff here. I'm gonna say this here. I've been talking about this for a long time, and today I'm finally breaking it all down. So I'm going live today, later on, because I'm tired of, like I said, watching people, artists, including myself, work like we're on welfare while carrying the weight of systems that never really supported us. We can be honest, but a lot of times they don't want honest. They just want money. So, I've lived through decades doing tattoos just to survive, paying into programs. It didn't work, paying to want to be involved with something that sounded good, but in truth, they really didn't deliver what they promised. I've only done a number of shows in the last 30 years or so where we actually came out really, really good and worked our asses off because there was a need, and those people had produced a environment that was hungry for what we had to offer. And I really feel that taking notes for the last 3 decades on every success and every failure seen, in the tattoo world counts for a lot. And I used this to create and use that information to evolve this into a self-funded, AI-driven competition, as well as a platform. All right. And it's designed to put the artist first, right? Not the promoter. The promoter, if he's successful and he does his part, he'll get paid as well. And he's going to make just as much money as anybody else in the show for his time, which he's putting in a lot more time than anybody else. So, you have investors, sponsors, every client's an investor, every tattoo artist is an investor. Everybody's investing into themselves and into their own career because they want trophies, they want recognition, they want to be able to open their shop and have a wall of trophies and be able to say that they're an award-winning tattoo artist establishment. And that goes a long way because you get paid what you're worth, and people will come from a long ways to pay you for that. So You know, no more guessing, no politics, no being taken advantage of. It manages the registrations, approvals, payments, escrow, payouts, analytics, category booking, bidding, and the live judging. All of it's automated, all of it's transparent, and all of it's fair. Yes, we do have human judges doing the human judging, but the AI does the accounting of the scores from the public, the VIPs, which are the people who pay to get tattooed, and also other artists or whatever that when they're not tattooing or they're not on schedule, they can judge online by dropping in on other artists that are tattooing live because they are also, as a tattoo artist, are a VIP. So, um, so once again, I'm not just a promoter or the face of the event. I'm the grand marshal, right? The event creator. I wrote every rule of the show from the ground up. I know it inside out, right? Because I built it. I built it so that I don't control the money, and I have zero personal control once the money comes in and is allocated for the show. That automatically is locked, and I can't touch that. That is for covering costs of the show, and all that stuff is put in through the website and the developer. I report back to the developer. So the money belongs to the artist. We've allocated, and I'm going to explain how this works, and I'm going to do it to the best off the top of my head so y'all understand. Okay, 100 tattoo artists at $1,000 each for 7-day show. Okay, that's basically a normal, typical cost for any artist for any show. Usually, it's $1,000, somewhere about $1,000 nowadays for a 3 or a 2-day show. Some of them are 2 days, but typically it's a 3-day show. So we're doing 7 days for $1,000. So your clients, once you have them booked, they have 7 days to get there and get tattooed in time to be able to get judged and everything and still be in line and not be kind of at a place or whatever and then get pushed out, to where they can't get tattooed because they weren't there early enough. So between clients and artists, you got to determine that. You guys have to work together. Same with your apprentices, your helpers. They have access to all this. They are going to be able to help you. And so everybody's job is to help promote, help us bring in more clients that want to get tattooed for the show, that are willing to travel or willing to come out, or that are from Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Nevada. Those are the surrounding states. And then we do have Canada above, and we have Mexico down below. So I welcome any national artists that can, come into the country that have visas or have permission. You're welcome to apply and to do the steps just like anybody else. I'm not going to limit it to just anybody. This is traditionally Tattoo Olympic competition, and we had, when the original Tattoo Olympics was held in the late 90s at the Ink Slingers Ball by Gil Monty, Lyle Tuttle, and Dennis Dwyer, which I was a contestant of. There were other artists from other countries that were here, from Amsterdam, from England, the UK. There was Chinese artists. I remember Salape artists being around, hand pokers, tappers, Polynesian stuff. They were present, but they were all busy. So the people that had time competed. Our boy Corey Miller won that particular one. first place, and Hippie, also known as Beast. Saul Rodriguez won third place. I don't remember the kid from second place, but he was a biker kid, pretty cool kid, pretty cool cat. And then there was me, fourth place, right? So my show is a first through fourth place placement on all categories. The prizes will go accordingly, large to small. Any tiebreakers, get this, when you bid on your tattoos and you have your leeway, your price range of what you can bid, you have your little slide button that'll show you charity, admin, um, and then payout, and then savings, right? So all these things that go towards, that we're building up for in our pots, in our goals. When you slide that and you take more home with you, those other ones, they get smaller, right? So you're putting less into them, right? So when you do more and those grow, that puts more in your savings, okay? So not only are you getting paid at the end, but you're putting money in your savings for the end of the show. Now, this is the whole purpose of the savings, okay? There's two reasons. One is during this tiebreaker, you're going to be able to use your escrow amount as a tiebreaker. So whichever one of the two people that's within 10 points of each other, first, second, or third, or fourth place, within 10 points, whoever has the most savings is going to be the one favored, because they put more money in charity and they were less selfish. So, see, we're making honest people out of everybody, right? Not just transparent, but we're showing everybody that it's very rewarding to give and not just be a taker, okay? So, the other half of it is that at the end of that, once all these little pies or whatever that distribute the full amount of money to everywhere, judges, admin, security, cashier, the developer, the initial investment people, whoever that put money into this, right? All of those things, they all are a part of that pie. So at the end of that, when that pie is all distributed, and the awards are finalized and everybody's been paid for their categories and they've been paid for their tattoos that they did, that part of that savings is going to come back to you, whether it be in a check or electronic payment, but it's going to also come with an attachment of a 1099, right? That'll probably come in a separate email to your email separately, because all that stuff is going to have to be submitted when you come in as an artist, because I'm not paying your taxes. Fuck all that. I have enough issue with paying my own taxes. So, everybody can pay their own shit. I'm not being responsible for nobody but myself. All right? And that's that. So, with that said, for those of you that qualify to tattoo, that have sick ass work, that do showcase quality work, and we can showcase you and get you approved, it's $50 to get you approved. That $50 goes towards your $1,000 registration for your space. We are only doing, we're doing 10 by 10 areas, right? Booths with tables and all that, but those are being split in half. So each artist gets his own half of a booth. So it's a 5 by 10, but we're not putting no tables in the front because we want that area open. And that area will be for apprentices, chairs, or whatever, for when they're on standby, or fans, lighting, additional, their artist setups, toolboxes, whatever it is that they're doing. Because a lot of artists will use a bed, armrest, etc. They kind of spread themselves out a little bit, but you only have a little bit of room. So we're going to try to spread everybody out really nice and make sure that everybody has pretty much an equal amount of room. And some areas allow us to do like 11 or 12-foot wide spaces. So a lot of it is going to be split evenly. So I'm going to measure, calculate with a calculator an even amount of spaces, and that's where the tape is going. And there'll be a tape across the table and the floor. So you guys respect each other's space. Everybody will get along, and we're all going to make a living and make some history together, because this is really, when I saw for the first time, I'll give you a little history lesson. When I saw for the first time Tattoo Magazine, the beginnings of what was tattoo expos, like the Mad Hatters show, Am Jam, Hell's Angels had a show for quite a while that they did in New York City. Those were like the original shows. Ink Slingers Ball. Those were the first ones. And at least the first ones that I can remember offhand, right? The ones that really stood out for me that looked like a lot of fun. And I thought to myself, I want to be a part of that somehow. I'm going to figure that out. I know I can draw. I'm going to learn how to tattoo. And I'm going to figure this out. And because I want to be happy like those people, do it. And that made me happy, really, honestly. When I attended my first show, the Ink Slingers Ball, and by that time, I was already apprentice, learned how to build machines, how to make tubes out of metal, did a machinist class already, could build machines and wind coils and do all this stuff, right? Make needles. I was already a bona fide tattoo artist by the time, and unfortunately, had already been locked up a few times and had already done the prison time and tattooed single needle. The first time came out, got my apprenticeship, went back another 2.5 years, came out, got a job in a halfway house that, because I had already apprenticed and I had already been listed as a tattoo artist, professional tattoo artist, I was able to open up the door for other artists to be able to be in a halfway home and be able to tattoo in the state of California. Shortly after that, when I started tattooing on my own, and we did a few Ink Slingers balls, came the time where we needed to do a proposal and a declaration to the health department for rules, because they wanted to basically ban tattooing in California, and that would essentially stop the progress of the tattoo industry at that moment. At that time, was already starting to take off, and although it was still, they were still doing a lot of gatekeeping, it was growing exponentially very fast at that time. So the state was scared. They were seeing an influx of tattoo shops, and they didn't know how to react, and they didn't know anything about it. So they came to us and asked us if we could come to an agreement or whatever, and all of us put in our 2 cents, 10 cents, dollars, right? So we all agreed to that, signed a declaration. There was probably about 25 or 30 people on that list. And I believe that I was the one that wrote it out in my handwriting, and everybody signed after me. So it's what I remember, telling them I would do that for them. So we did this. They came to everybody's shops. They filmed. Um, it was put on Telemundo when they filmed at my place and at Sid's in Santa Ana. So that began the era of the rule book for tattooing, and shortly after that, they started licensing and training yearly, and then that switched to back to by county a few years after the AB 400 or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly the numbers. So a few years later, uh, disposable needles and tubes came along, Lexan tubes, and my friend, the owner, and oh my God, I can't remember his name, Kim. What I want to remember is Kim, but I could be wrong. I can't remember. Is the owner of Worldwide Needle and Tattoo Supply, which was TCM, Tattoo, Chiropractic, and Medical Supply. They agreed to give me samples to take to the health department to give to Mr. Camarena, or Castañeda, excuse me, the director at the time, for testing so that we could get approval to be able to use blister pack and gas sterilized equipment that was being shipped in from China. Or as long as it had expiration and born on dates or whatever with the lot number that they would allow, because they passed the lab tests as clean. So I got permission. This was like 99 for Los Angeles County to be able to use that, and that opened it up for everybody else, because everybody else, one state after another, adopted Los Angeles's rule book. Therefore, oh, wait a minute. 2010, the Tattoo Olympics, when me and my ex-wife Pamela put on the Tattoo Olympics, we invited Kathy Monty, who, by the way, her ex-husband, first husband, was the creator of the Ink Singers, Paul Pryor, right? The rule book, remember? Okay, so back to Kathy. Invited her to bring her bloodborne pathogens class so that we could approve those coming in that didn't have their bloodborne, that needed that to be able to tattoo at the Tattoo Olympics in 2010 at the Hollywood Park Casino. So we invited the health director, again, a new director, new office, new everything for LA County. They moved their operation to Baldwin Park, California, which is the neighboring city to where I grew up in El Monte. And they sent over the director, who I want to say I at some point, I might have, his name was Dr. Kim as well, maybe, I don't know. Or maybe he was the one that was Kim. So anyway, this is a long time ago. So she got approved under my direction for bloodborne pathogen online and in-person classes for Los Angeles County, right? So now everybody in the country has adopted these rules. Same rules, same everything. They just, tweak it a little bit to work for how they like things. Payment wise, whatever, license, all that kind of stuff, inspection, whatever, who knows. Some states don't have any. Arizona has none, right? You just need a bloodborne pathogen and you're good to go. That's all they care about, that you understand. And they have enough complaints, maybe they might come shut you down. But usually they just say go to a doctor. Anyway, we're bypassing all of these things, and I'm just showing you that my credibility. I've programmed any uncertainties out of the foolproof plan, and me myself have been involved with rules and a little bit of stuff that has to do with the tattoo world as we know it today, whether anybody likes it or not. I've been there. I was there. I was a part of it. So if anybody has the authority to restructure the tattoo industry, that would be this fool right here. And I'm not saying that to boast or to be a dick, all right? I busted my ass to get where I'm at to make tattooing acceptable in the workplace, okay? Between the Pimp My Tattoo Show, Pimp My Tattoo Roadshow, the National Tattoo Party, all these things that I've been doing for all these years. Hollywood followed. They used up all my ideas off of the pimpmytattoo.com website, produced all kinds of shows, never gave me no credit, but all the proof was there. So I'm not going to argue that. It is what it is. Now it's time for us to take back control of our industry, and this is how I'm contributing to keeping things in order and making things a little bit better for the tattoo artist, and not no more taking advantage of people in the industry. We're not going to be exploiting artists anymore. I don't care who they are or whatever. If we use this system and you guys adopt this and you franchise in to this league and you adopt my program and my developer is able to help you with your website, that's the deal. We can work together and keep things the way they're supposed to be in the tattoo world and have a nice structure. So I'm not saying that I'm going to control anything or I'm taking over shit, or that I'm some king or some bullshit like that or kingpin. Fuck all that. I'm a tattoo artist that's been through a lot of hell to bring this to where it is, and I paid my dues. I invested my own time and my own money into collecting enough information, contacts, and everything over the last 30 years that I earned my place. So, with that said, I welcome all professional tattoo artists to join the league, and let's make this a reality, yo. We'll see you on tattooshowinvitational.com. Thank you.